Buying a furniture used to be boring, very boring. And as generic as it sounds, buying a furniture for a large part, and to a large part maybe in India, still remains as generic as simply going out and buying groceries. And then IKEA happened. IKEA made buying furniture exciting. It made sure that buying furniture did not remain just another exercise, but something that people look forward to. IKEA started with modest resources. As a 17-year-old, Sweet Ingvar Kamprad started selling pens and cards out of his family's farm. IKEA is derived from the initials of Ingvar Kamprad's name, Elmatirth, which is the farm where he grew up, and Agunarid, his hometown in southern Sweden. It began as a mail order service and began selling furniture only 5 years later in 1948. To put IKEA's successful story into perspective and what an amazing journey it has been, in 2015, Forbes listed Kampal as one of the 10 richest people in the world with a fortune of over $40 billion. IKEA's unique selling point is its modernist and leading edge design. It is a company that is known for putting customers before anything else. This is something that is further exemplified by the fact that people have 50-mile round trips just to go to those IKEA stores and have that IKEA experience. Annually, close to 650 million people walk through their stores worldwide. In a nutshell, three major factors go into influencing consumers' buying decisions. Cultural factors are the factors that influence consumers at a primary level. These include the culture of the places these consumers have grown up in, family values, etc. Social factors include the social sitting groups of people and majorly include reference groups, the groups people live in and interact with every day, while personal factors include different factors like age, occupation, employment, economic situations, etc. For example, in Scandinavian countries, IKEA's design tends to follow traditional Scandinavian techniques and to some extent reflects the culture. In doing so, IKEA targets the cultural factors of its Scandinavian customers and makes sure that it strikes the right chord with its target segment. Apart from it, it also helps IKEA to be viewed as a brand that is global yet caters to the local tastes of its target customers. It helps establish IKEA as a truly Scandinavian brand, which in turn helps it boost its sales on a large scale and in the long run. Apart from that, IKEA's advertising techniques make sure that it targets day-to-day happenings that hold significant importance. For example, this advertisement was targeted at the then presidential frontrunner Donald Trump's declaration of building a border wall between US and Mexico. By doing this, IKEA essentially manages to stay relevant and manages to stay one of those things that people talk about in their day-to-day lives. This gives IKEA a leverage over its competitors, and it makes sure that IKEA ultimately stays relevant and people think of IKEA while buying furniture. Apart from its leading edge design that makes the consumers want to buy everything IKEA sells, of course, IKEA advertises in a brilliant manner. When it comes to advertising, IKEA is bold, smart, sheepish, and accurate. In 2002, the inaugural television component of Unboring campaign, titled Lamp, went on to win several awards, which included the Grand Prix at the Cannes Lions International Advertising Festival, which is widely considered to be the most prestigious award in the advertising community. In 2011, an advertising campaign was launched aiming at discovering whether men or women are the messiah in home. It featured four standard comedians, two men and two women, which debating which gender is messiah. The idea behind the campaign is that domestic clutter leads to arguments and thus to an imperfect home, and this can be solved by storage that IKEA furnitures provide. Its customers were allowed to click pictures of which gender is messiah and send proofs on an app that was especially designed for this campaign. By doing these and undertaking campaigns like these, IKEA essentially managed to stay relevant and involve people within its campaign. For example, a similar advertising campaign in Sweden allowed IKEA and asked its customers to stay within newly opened IKEA showrooms 3 days before they actually opened to win IKEA products. Again, IKEA somehow managed to involve people in its advertising campaign, which helped it position itself better. After entering Asia, when IKEA realized that Asian customers would rather prefer paying more to get the product delivered than the do-it-yourself concept and assemble the product themselves, IKEA introduced a new delivery line wherein people or its customers were allowed to pay extra and get the product delivered at their homes rather than them taking it them with themselves. IKEA also catered to the local Chinese interests by special rooster themed products during the Chinese New Year. IKEA also created king-size beds in New York when IKEA realized that people in New York were very sensitive about their beds. Similarly, IKEA also created special glasses for its US segment when it realized that people were buying vases as glasses because they considered the IKEA glasses to be too small. Hence, IKEA as a brand and a company has always innovated and wishes to continue to do so. It has adapted its product lines, strategies, advertising and business and delivery lines just to make sure that the local interests of the consumers are catered to. IKEA needs to make sure that it learns from its recent experiences in China and establishes itself as a brand before entering the Indian markets, and it has its logistics for the delivery lines and the product lines in place so that it can grab the market share before anyone else does and leverage the first mover's advantage. IKEA needs to come up with a way, especially for its Asian markets, to include the delivery price of the product into the original price of the product. It helps consumer psychology, and people do not think that they are paying premium just to get the product delivered to their homes. This will, in long run, help IKEA sales and also help IKEA have better brand equity amongst its target segment. And a final disclaimer, this presentation has been created by Rishikesh Dubey as a part of an internship with Dr. Samir Mathur, who is the professor of marketing at IIM Lucknow.